Welcome back, and thank you so very much for tuning in and watching us. We have an interview with Mayor Earl Johnson this afternoon. Well, it's customary that we have an interview right after you have the council meeting. This is Wednesday, and you had a council meeting on Tuesday. And it wasn't a huge council meeting, but there was a lot accomplished. Y'all been off to the League of Municipalities meeting, hadn't you?
Right. The league meeting started Friday night in Tuscaloosa. This is a historic meeting in Tuscaloosa. First time the league has met in Tuscaloosa in 51 years.
Wow.
So they negotiated that contract a little after a couple of years ago, after the storm hit Tuscaloosa, and the league felt like it was really the right thing to do to go up there and
try to help
try to help Tuscaloosa out. And they built. There's a new hotel been built there, and some of the older ones have been upgraded. So it worked out fine. Had absolutely a good meeting.
Should have gone by Mercedes and seen Evan while you were up there.
Well,
we got us a local boy working up there.
I tell you what, they had us pretty busy. We didn't have much extra time.
You know, I've been to one of those or two, and they really are very important meetings. You learn things and you bring it home, like the Apple program, for goodness sakes.
Well, that's one
perfect example.
I'll tell you one thing that we heard. The very first meeting that we had, the first meeting we had, of course, the governor came and spoke, and then we broke up and went from there. But one of the first big meetings we had was a retail specialist company that comes in and helps people. And guess what they were telling all the people at the Alabama League of Municipalities?
What were they talking about?
Attracting retail. And they said how smart the cities in Alabama are that are contracting with these specialists to help them come up with a strategic plan and get themselves organized to bring retail into their cities. So we felt pretty good. We were already doing that. And
the good news is we're an island to ourselves, and we have a huge trade area. This huge trade area.
We do, and that's something that separates us from a lot of other towns our size who may just be on the outlying areas of the metropolitan area, and it's really hard for them to break through, because it's just so easy for folks to jump in their car and go 10 miles and go to some big mega shopping center and not, but we don't have to contend with that. We're down here, and if we have good merchants, which we do, we have good retail, which we do, people will stay home and shop at home, and that's what we want.
Well, I cut the TV on this morning at 6:30. Denise and I were drinking a cup of coffee, and who do we see but Mayor Johnson on WSFA TV this morning, talking about the city of Andalusia and some of the exciting things that are going around, like that little place between here and Ott that's called Sitel.
Right. Isn't that fabulous? 100 new jobs.
At $9 an hour.
Starting at $9 and going up from there. Big news for Andalusia. Big news for Covington County. And Sitel has just been one of those companies that we recruited back in 2003. Finally got them located. They weren't called Sitel then. There was another name I think they've changed names 2 or 3 times. But the point is, there's several hundred jobs out there, and they're bringing in 100 more. And these are not telemarketing jobs. These are not people asking folks to pay their credit card bill. It's not that kind of. It's an entirely different kind of job.
Well, it's truly a service industry.
It is a service industry, exactly.
And I'll tell you something else, Earl, just from an outsider's point of view, there's one thing we've always heard every time the superintendent's here or anybody that I've interviewed, they say that poverty is one of the #1 problems in Alabama, but especially where there's single women head of households, and so many single head of households are able to work at Sitel because it's open 24 hours a day, and then they can get somebody to babysit their child while they go to work for 6 or 8 hours. That's a real job, Earl.
Because of the way they're structured, they're able to offer people jobs that are outside of the routine, normal working hours that we think about, which is usually from 7 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon or something like that. They have evening, afternoon, evening opportunities, like you're saying, for people who can actually hold down one job and maybe go out there and work a 4-hour shift, and add some income to their
family. They're so flexible. They've got a time slot. If you have a time slot that you can work, they usually can work around your schedule.
Well, the great thing about it is they pay you while they train you.
Yeah.
So what?
How are you going to lose that?
How are you going to lose that? Not only you get paid, but they teach you a trade or teach you a skill that you might not have had when you went out there. But most of the folks that are younger than you and I can do almost anything with a computer and a keyboard now, so they can go out there and a few weeks. And
I thought about going to get a job so they'd train me to learn how to use a keyboard.
Well, I jokingly said to the lady who was from Sitel this morning, I said, I may come out there and get a job for y'all. She said, we probably won't hire you. I said, no, you probably wouldn't, because my computer skills would be very lacking.
We're not of the millennium age.
We're punch one finger, one finger. Maybe
but we can talk good.
We can do that.
I made a mistake, and Mama said that I'd got to correct it tomorrow, so I won't do that during your interview, but I will correct my mistake.
All right.
I said I only had one cousin. Somebody, Alice Tadlock, called me the other day. And I thought she was my only cousin, but Mama said I got lots of cousins. I just didn't know about them.
Okay.
But Mama's 93. She's right.
Yeah, she's right. I guarantee.
And this week is Nursing Home Week in Andalusia.
Let me tell you, while we were in Tuscaloosa at the League of Municipalities meeting, I had a person. You meet people from all over the state, and they're from all walks of life, and they're members of city councils or city governments. And some gentleman that was sitting at our tables, found out that I was the mayor of Andalusia, and he said, y'all have such a wonderful nursing home in Andalusia. He said, I travel, he said his job was connected to traveling around all over the state doing business with nursing homes. And he said, Andalusia has one of the finest nursing homes in this state. And of course, I agreed with him. We knew that before he told us that, but we were proud to hear other people say it.
Well, not only is it a wonderful actual plant, the employees out there are state-of-the-art, best people in the world working out there.
And that's one of the things he commented on. He says, you can walk into a facility like that, a care facility. He says, and the first thing you notice, of course, is its appearance and how things look and so forth. He says, but the biggest thing you notice is whether or not the staff cares about their patients and what they're doing. He said, there's no question at all that at the nursing home in Andalusia that the staff out there really care about the patients.
They really care. Now, Earl, I noticed, to me, one of the best things that's happened in the last year has been the Apple program, the after-school program, where children can go and have a wonderful environment to learn after school.
That's great.
But y'all are doing something this summer that's way above board. It's not just providing, you're really providing. Tell them what you voted on at the council meeting about the Apple program.
What the council voted on last night was to provide a evening meal for the participants of the Apple program. This is because a lot of these kids are coming from single parent homes, or maybe their grandparents whose income is marginal at best, and they're used to getting something to eat at school, and we're going to take care of that. We're going to not only provide them a noon meal, we're going to provide them a supper meal. And so they will be able to eat that there at the summer program at the middle school and maybe the Colvin Center as well before they go home. And in some special circumstances, they'll be able to take it with them, but primarily they want you to make sure they eat it. So the money that comes through this is a state program, and there's certain guidelines you have to comply with, and one of those is they want to make sure that the children eat their meal before they go home. If that's not possible, you can make special exceptions for that.
Right. Well, I have been out there, and you can actually see the very nature of these people. Their spirit is lifted by that program.
I'll tell you, they've made a little. The staff out there made a little video, and I'll get you a copy of it.
Yeah, we'd like to show that.
It's like it'll lift your heart to see how much these young folks are enjoying what they're doing, and quite frankly, how much the staff enjoys working with them.
Well, how much you're learning too.
It's great. The first thing, the first responsibility they have when they get there during the school year is to take care of their homework. And if they need some help in math, they got someone there that can help them with the math. If they need some help in algebra, they got somebody to help them in algebra and trig. If they need somebody to help them with Spanish, they got a Spanish teacher there. On and on and on. English, on and on and on. And so the first thing they do when they get there in the afternoon during the school year is to take care of their homework. And then they're offered to participate in other programs, recreation type programs, but programs also that involve a skill, teaching a skill. For example, the master gardeners of Covington County.
Wouldn't you have loved to have had a master gardener teach you?
I'm telling you.
I'm serious, as a young person. Well, you had your daddy, he was a master gardener.
Well, he was.
But I mean, I'm talking about the average person doesn't have that opportunity.
That's right. And we had the volunteers for this are people from our community. And the master gardeners came and were teaching these children from first grade up how to start a garden. And they actually grew gardens, and they planted some flowers, they planted some vegetable gardens, they did some other things out there. And you could tell, I went out and looked at it with the master gardeners and the children, and they were all so proud of what they'd done.
It's one of the favorite things, most favorite.
Yeah. So that's a skill that will stay with them for the rest of their life.
Well, yesterday they had a pizza. They cooked these cheese pizzas, and they took the herbs that they grew themselves, and they put dill on one and oregano on one and stuff like that, and then they put rosemary. But rosemary's pretty, that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
But the dill on one. But they're experimenting with cooking, cleaning up.
Right. They're experimenting with just stepping up and saying hello to people. If you walk in out there and you have a little 7-year-old boy with his teeth missing in the front, and he'll walk up and grin at you and walk up and tell you his name and stick his hand out and shake your hand and then ask you what he can do to help you, that's a big step for a 7-year-old. And that's the kind of skills that they're being taught.
Well, while we're sitting here today, there's actually somebody at the largest convention trying to sell Andalusia.
Absolutely. Retail Strategies, the company that we contracted with, we talked about, I think the last time I was here.
You did.
Is at the shopping center convention in Las Vegas, which is the largest gathering of retailers in the world in one spot. And Retail Strategies has a place set up in the convention center, and they're working those retailers and making contacts for us that they'll bring back, and hopefully we'll follow up on those as time permits. And who knows what will turn up on it, but we certainly think that it's a much better methodical and professional way to solicit retail than just somebody told me somewhere on the corner that you ought to go talk to Joe. That's kind of what we've been doing. Right. So it's a much more professional way to do it.
Well, since we've had the station downtown, we've had more people just drop by that are just the first time they've ever been in Andalusia. And we had a gentleman drop in yesterday from up in Madison County, and he was here. He's a professional storyteller, and he just loved it. And he went on and on about the murals. He went and read every mural and told me all about them, and he asked me questions about, the horse. He asked me questions about the Hank Williams. And, but he had actually studied them, and he said he's been all over the world, and this reminded him of Italy, in Spain, the big, beautiful centers of town.
Well, we hear that quite often, and sometimes I think those of us who live here and see this every day and maybe grew up here our whole life, we tend to sort of take it for granted. But Andalusia really is a special place.
Well, he said his remark was Andalusia is alive. He goes all over the state of Alabama doing speaking. He said some towns are dying. Yeah. He said, but Andalusia is alive and prospering in his eyes.
Well, we're excited. The potential that we've started, I think we've got a good start. I think we've come away from the brink, so to speak. And we're moving forward. We got a lot of things going on.
You got something special going on.
We got something really special going on. We talked about it this morning on WSFA. I had to kind of give a secret announcement. I mean, I'll say it's a coded announcement.
Right.
But they wanted me to make some kind of announcement, and I did. And that is, we have reached an agreement in principle. We've still got to work out the details with a retail concern to bring a very nice facility to Andalusia. And it's something that all the people will enjoy. We think it'll reach out to our entire market area and even beyond. And we'll be hopefully prepared to make a fuller announcement about that within the next 3 or 4 weeks. But this is an exciting prospect. It's more than a prospect now. They have committed to come, but we've still got to work out the deal. And the reason we don't name who that is or where they are is because there's a lot of other towns that like to run in and snake that prospect from us.
That's
so
right.
we're not going to give them
the ink's not dry yet.
That's right. We're not going to give them the opportunity to do that.
Now, the city will be closed Monday, the 25th, Memorial Day.
Right.
Are there some Memorial Day celebrations that you're aware of?
Saturday at 10 o'clock, we'll have a Memorial Day service like we always have at 10 o'clock. We'll have a speaker who is an active member of the Navy, serving presently in the Navy. It's a lady. I'm not sure of her rank, but it's just a high enlisted rank, but I forgot now what it is. She will be our speaker, and it's not a long service, probably 30 minutes, but it's really meaningful. That service is. It's, again, keeping in mind it is a memorial service to honor those men and women who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. It's a little different from Veterans Day, which is kind of like a celebration in a sense that you have a parade and you have bands marching and all this. This is more kind of almost like a church service.
Right.
So we will have a speaker. We will have someone to open the ceremony, singing the national anthem, and then a speaker, and then the placing of the wreaths at the memorial. At the monuments around the memorial.
Behind City Hall.
Behind City Hall. And then we will have, of course, the playing of taps. It's a pretty somber, but for those who served or had family members who served or who care about those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, it's a small thing to ask to come spend 30 or 35 minutes to pay tribute and pay honor to those folks. So I invite folks to be there at 10 o'clock Saturday morning. We will have, if it rains, we'll have inside facilities to go to get in and out of the rain.
Got a backup plan.
We always have a backup plan, and we'll have one Saturday morning. Hopefully, it won't. The forecast right now is to be nice. The weather will be nice, and 10 o'clock it will not be very hot yet, so it'll be something.
Well, I know you got to go back to work. Did we miss anything? Did we cover it okay?
I think we kind of caught up since the last meeting, Bob, and hopefully by the next time we meet, we'll have some more exciting news to report.
We want to thank you for watching, and if you have any questions concerning our city, you can honestly call City Hall at 222-3313. And somebody, I mean, my mother's 93, and she had she got a notice about a planning committee meeting, and she called Andy and got all the questions answered because it was some property connected to her property.
Right.
And you know, she's 93, she couldn't go, but she told them how she felt about it, and they let her feelings and wishes be known.
Sure.
And that's just a great, honest way to do business, y'all. When you live in a place where you can get an answer, you need to thank the dear Lord about that every day. Mayor, it's good to have you today. Come back and see us real soon, okay?
Thank you.